Hello, I'm Brian LaBelle here at the Craft Brewers Conference in Minneapolis 2022 with Lynne Weaver of Three Weavers Brewery in Inglewood, California. So how did you get into the brewery business, brewing beer?
The brewery is named after my three kids, and took some time off and was home brewing, and a lot of my friends and family really encouraged me to actually take it to a professional level. So utilizing my background in finance, wrote a business plan, and it's all history now.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations from transitioning from hobby to business. What sorts of opportunities do you see in the broad industry for craft brewers?
Coming out of the pandemic, the opportunities I foresee within the craft beer industry are pretty exponential, but they also are outside of the industry as well. So diversifying a little bit in your portfolio in the sense of what you are producing, RTDs or even seltzer, it's going to continue to grow in those different market spaces as we see a contraction within the beer industry as a whole.
So that would be a strategic approach for Three Weavers? You have a diversified product offering?
It is something that we are considering and looking into, and I think that that's where a lot of breweries, microbreweries and regionals are focusing in on today, and looking at what other avenues are they able to get their brand and products out to the market.
So like most industries, the craft brewing industry is a male-dominated industry, and as a woman business owner and craft brewer, what has that experience been like for you?
It's been a positive one in the craft brewing industry. There are some reckoning moments in which I think that the craft industry really needs to take a step back and look of what type of experience that they're impacting on females within the industry. But if you look around this conference right now, you will see lots of women, which is really great and encouraging. Currently, the last statistic I remember seeing was that 17% of all managerial positions within the craft beer industry are held by women, which is, in comparison to tech, which is less than a percent.
Right.
It is great. Do we have more work to make it more equitable? Absolutely. But I do believe that we are on that way, and I think that our industry as a whole has been super receptive to understanding the challenges and the behavior changes that are necessary to make this more inclusive as an industry.
Well, that's very positive, and as you mentioned, still more work to be done.
I think that the industry has been doing a very good job of being welcoming to consumers of all types, be it, like just for the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and just taking those steps to be more inclusive means also women or even BIPOC individuals, being Black, Indigenous, people of color, welcoming them in. There are really important parts within our industry to reach out and extend that welcoming hand. Currently, we work with Crowns and Hops. They're a local brewery in Inglewood, and we contract brew for them. They're a Black-owned, female-founded, veteran-founded brewery. We work really hard to assist them in their business because we want to see them succeed.
Right.
In a minority business that's a lot of times massively disadvantaged.
There's positive impact on the community you're having as well as growing your business.
Well, it's really important. It's part of our ethos of Three Weavers. We are based on, our foundation of our brewery is based on community and family. And so Inglewood is super important to me. I grew up in North Orange County, and the thought of actually starting a business in Inglewood was far-fetched from what I ever imagined myself doing.
Sure.
I mean, I remember the Rodney King riots, I remember a lot of things in which Inglewood had a really dark time in their history.
That's right.
And then when the Lakers left, it was devastating to that city, our city, and literally Inglewood's been pulling themselves up by their bootstraps ever since then, and now they've got the SoFi Stadium, and it's just been amazing.
Well, Inglewood has the SoFi Stadium, and the SoFi Stadium has a Three Weavers contract. They serve your beer there.
So our beer is at SoFi Stadium. We're also building a new brew pub, which George Fisher piping will be in there, and I'm excited to see how the new piping and technology of connecting your pipes is coming together.
That's cool fit PE Plus system.
Yeah, PE
That's
Plus,
right.
It's like self-welds. It's pretty cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, you've mentioned GF and our Cool Fit PE Plus product that helps with the cooling applications. Use glycol in the jackets around the fermentation tanks, is that right?
Correct.
What happens if you don't cool those fermentation tanks properly?
oh, well, then you'll have off flavors on your beer. It's super important. One of the things that people forget is that efficiency rates in your chiller. And one of the biggest places in which you're going to lose efficiency in your glycol system is in insulation. So from the point of which you go from the chiller all the way through your piping, if you don't have it insulated properly, your efficiency will drop dramatically.
Gotcha.
Like almost 40% of cooling ability is lost when you don't have it appropriately insulated. And George Fisher's product, you can tell by condensation whether or not you're being efficient or not. If you have drips on the floor or any condensation on any piping, you are not being efficient,
right.
which means then you're running your chiller more often and less efficiently, which is more power. It's all the way across the board. So I've always been a fan of George Fisher piping. It looks stellar, it looks sleek, black, completely one piece. It's a great product.
And I love that you don't have any soggy, insulation that works for a while and then drips, and it creates some slippery slip hazards for customers that may be coming through. So presumably you provide tours through your facility. It's a safety issue as well. But it's interesting to hear you talk about efficiency so much with the cooling operation. That affects the energy consumption, but also the quality of the beer. You really have to have good, tight control on that cooling application.
Correct.
To produce that consistent flavor that is a hallmark of a good brewery.
You are correct. The yeast ferments at a certain temperature and will actually provide you with certain esters based off of what temperature you are actually fermenting at. So that control is super important.
Outstanding. What a fascinating person you are, and thank you for taking this opportunity to talk with us. Again, here at Craft Brewer 2022 in Minneapolis. And Lynne Weaver, Three Weavers Brewery, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
And good luck to you in your new expansion.
Ah.